Lately I've been feeling things change. We've been working hard, no sleep, get it every day. And I swear that we ain't stopping till we pay. Yeah, the pressure on, gotta make it work, triple play, yeah.
This is Triple Play Fantasy Basketball. We're here, people. It's the playoffs, or at least for most of us. Playoffs coming this week. It's week 19 on the Yahoo, week 21 of the NBA season, and there are injuries galore. You got to be active at this time. Some of us are sitting nice and sweet with a bye week upcoming, but a lot of us that are playing in the game have a matchup, whether that's a 3 versus 6 or a 4 versus 5, or it depends on how your league is set up and your matchups. But you got to be active, and you got to go all in. You could be cutting somebody that's been on your team the entire year and it's been carrying you. It just, you got to win to advance. It's elimination time. Put all your chips in. What say you? I'm Coach James Lewis on one end. On the other end is Doc Eric Mendelson. What up?
James, I told you I was going to be a little animated. You're talking about cutting guys. I'm using scissors. You're going all in. I'm pushing some metaphorical tips in.
Yeah.
Looking like both you and I are going to get the bye in our league, potentially face in the finals, fight to the death. Winner gets sole ownership of this show. Just kind of spitballing, but it's daylight savings time, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, I'd be ownership of this channel for 3 years, and you still are waiting to own a year.
I'm sorry, James. Where's your Triple Play Fantasy apparel? I have a mug here.
You have a mug.
No, wait. Hold on. I have sweatpants that I'm wearing. Triple Play Fantasy sweatpants.
I mean, I know it's Sunday, but you are not matching. Your attire is not linking up.
I'm at home and I'm in a relationship. I don't care how I look anymore.
That's true. We're two different guys living two different lives. I'm married. I got 2 kids on the other end. Doc's on his way. I feel like that it's somewhere down the road. We're growing here. Games watch week 19. Monday is 12. That means like you probably gonna have to make a decision to sit some people. On Tuesday and Thursday, there's 4 games, 5 games. That's a nice day that like you want to add maybe a pickup to go roll on a Tuesday, Thursday, and then make a decision after that. So I think you really want to be active, even if it is using that pickup on a Monday to pick up a Tuesday, Thursday guy, since you're gonna have to bench somebody anyway. Stay ahead of the game. Wednesday's 9, Friday 10, and then Saturday, Sunday 8. Those are going to be crunch time days for you to make decisions. Definitely streamable days with 8 games being played. The Brooklyn Nets have 5 games. They are in tank season, so maybe not the most reliable when you're thinking about picking up Keon Johnson, etc. I mean, there's
Zaire Williams, a Jalen Wilson, a Noah Clowney.
Yeah, all the guys the rest of the league is giving up on.
A Day'Ron Sharpe.
Yeah, 20 teams with 4, which means 9 teams with 3 is not ideal. If you have those, your best players are, Steph Curry, who's been going bananas recently, has been living at the charity line and killing. I mean, a game with 12 threes not too long ago. 20 teams with 4. Atlanta, Boston, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, the Pacers, the Rockets, the Clippers, Lakers, Grizzlies, the Heat, the Milwaukee Bucks, OKC, Orlando, Philly, Phoenix, San Antonio, Spurs. Injuries are rampant in this NBA right now. Toronto, Utah, Washington. Then the 9 teams with 3, which is not as equitable as it has been in the past as far as the games played. Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit, the Warriors, as mentioned, the T-Wolves, the Pelicans. Zion is hooping. The Knicks, Portland, and Sacramento. Though we talked about that Tuesday, Thursday with only 4 and 5 games played. If you're looking to pick somebody up, maybe after day 1 or maybe on Monday to get prepared for that Tuesday, Thursday split, The Nets, the Bucks, the Pistons, the Pelicans, and the Wizards are teams that you could focus in on. We're going to talk about some Wizards down the line, but just, thinking about it, Pistons, they have Schroeder that may be available. He's not playing, heavy minutes, but he's getting, around mid-20s, and he produces within categories. We're going to talk about the Nets and some players there. Keon Johnson comes to mind. The Bucks. Shout out Zion, man. He looks good too. We're going to start with Dillon though. After Amin Thompson goes down, looks like for the year, don't know about the status of Van Vliet. He's going to play heavy minutes, and he's going to shoot a lot of shots. And if he's making them, he's good for you. What say you on Dillon Brooks?
I mean, this is a late addition. Amin Thompson yesterday. I mean, bad coaching decision by Ime Udoka, trying to bring him in to get a triple-double when they're up by 30. Sprains his ankle with like under 30 seconds left. But even before that, Dillon 27 points, 7 threes, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. The volume is going to be there shooting. He averaged 18 over the last week. I'd imagine those numbers are probably similar. I wouldn't say he's somebody that's going to average 20 a game, but I think that 15 to 18, some rebounds and some threes. I mean, at this point in the year, you're taking someone, and the fact that he's now power forward eligible, I mean, You plug and play him for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and so you want to watch who's the beneficiary of the minutes. Is it Tari Eason? It might be Tari. So
I mean, he's been missing back-to-backs, but maybe they rush him back now and are playing him both sets now.
Yeah, and we know that he can fill it up, especially in categories league. He's been wonderful as far as stocks are concerned. So Tari, somebody watch. Maybe Cam Whitmore. We'll see. But from one injury person that's going to benefit to somebody else, Jalen Brunson is maybe the most important offensive player to his team in the entire league. And with him out, the Knicks have to find offense. And Tibbs has been known to go to Miles McBride in these situations. He gets on heaters. He gets cold. We saw that first game. He was like 2 for 13 from the floor. But he's going to shoot, and he's going to get you some threes if he's playing. So I know in the last 2 weeks this doesn't look phenomenal with 32%, but he's going to get hot at some point. And if you get ahead of the game, I recommend Miles McBride.
I mean, it's really the last 3 games. He was 2 for 19 over the last 3 games. He's 4 of 26 over the last 3. But the first game without Jalen Brunson, he played 34 minutes. I know he shot 2 of 13, but 6 assists, a steal. And if there is anything about Tom Thibodeau, he grinds his guys into the ground. So the playing time will be there for Miles McBride.
I just saw that Giannis leads the league in usage percentage at nearly 36%, that's a crazy stat.
Jalen Brunson, now that they have Dame.
Yeah. Kyrie Irving out for the year, torn ACL. Luka Doncic, I don't know if you've heard, he got traded as well. So Brandon Williams put him in. Last 2 games, 34 minutes out of nowhere. But we saw him be productive for Portland last year. And since he doesn't keep a job for a full year, but when he does and he gets an opportunity, he fills it up and he gets those assists that you really covet. Last game against Memphis, 31, 5, 6 dimes, hit 4 threes. In the game before that against Milwaukee, he had 8 dimes. There's a lot to like about Brandon Williams. And if you pick him up today, I know he plays on Monday.
I can't think of a team that has had more roster change, and people were talking about from a fantasy perspective. Like, James, before the year, we're talking about drafting Luka, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Daniel Gafford. At one point, they had Quentin Grimes, who we were saying is a great pickup.
Derek
Lively. And Brandon Williams is going to be the first of a few guys we're talking about, but they had like 9 active players against the Grizzlies. Like, I know Brandon Williams in the grand scheme of things is kind of a no-name, and I say that with a grain of salt because obviously he's better than I will ever be in my wildest dreams of basketball. But this is at the point where now in the season, I mean, 45 points, 14 assists, and 10 rebounds over the last 2 games, and the playing time is there.
Yeah. Talk about some other Mavericks here in the form of Naji Marshall, as well as Kessler Edwards, who's 4% roster. So we're not telling, the smaller team leagues to go and get this guy, but he's a deeper cut. And, in the last game, he had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, hit 3 threes, hit 2 and 1 in the last 2 games. So that's 6 stocks in 2 games. So, small 4, power 4 center eligible. In deeper leagues, you give him a look. But then Naji Marshall, uptick of 26%. He's on a heater. He's cooking. If he's out there, go get him.
Yeah, I mean, nothing else to be said. Naji Marshall's probably gone in a competitive league. I know he's 37% rostered. Yeah. But Kessler Edwards, someone under the radar, 3 position eligible. I like that 2 and 1 he's been averaging over the last couple games.
Yeah, those are not easy. That's not easy to come by, but when you provide some defensive stats that could sway you in category leagues, it's really could be crucial in the playoffs when you're playing an 11 cat and it's 6-5, or you're playing in a 9 category league and you're winning.
There was a game earlier this year, February 13th against the Heat. He played 40 minutes, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 threes. So, this isn't out of nowhere per se.
Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter. These are, 2 players that are benefiting in Chicago that finally they decided to take it in, even though they didn't get anything in return. Here we are. Trey Jones, when he plays, this is basically what you're gonna get is about 14 points. He rebounds decently when he plays, and he'll get you some assists. He won't go crazy with the assists, but if you're looking for a 15-5 guy, he's a safe guy in a deep league.
Yeah, and I think the reason we're talking about both of these guys, injury that flew a little bit under the radar, Ayo Dosunmu out for the season, shoulder surgery. And I know in terms of the impact, it's not the same as like a Jalen Brunson or an Amen Thompson, but he was averaging 30.3 minutes per game. So that frees up Trey Jones and Kevin Huerter. I would go Trey Jones if I had to pick between the two, because I think he's going to give you a little bit more value and a little bit more stability. I know Kevin Huerter has been good for threes. I'm not banking on those 2 steals a game, but Chicago's kind of tanking and they have a lot of guards. So
I'd go Kevin by a slight edge just because of the threes upside. But
James, you're a diehard Maryland fan. All right. Your bias is showing.
Oh, Maryland is nice. Can't wait for the tournament. Derek Queen. What a stud. Yeah, but I mean, I'd probably shy from both of these guys because I think you can find one of the other guys we're talking about in your league. Aaron Nesmith for the Indiana Pacers is giving you some offensive production, has a couple 20 pieces within the past week. And there's actually a lot to like with Aaron Nesmith.
Aaron Nesmith, at least 2 threes in 8 out of the last 10 games. At least 10 points in 8 out of the last 10 games. I think this is somebody that we talk about, a lot of times we'll say points or categories. I would lean more towards points just because he's given you a lot of scoring. You can see besides threes, he's not really helping you out in many other categories. But Indiana has moved him from the bench to the starting lineup. So I think that's certainly something to look at. And he's been the 3rd leading scorer on the team over the last couple of weeks. Halliburton has had some hot and cold games. Pascal Siakam has had a couple 30 pieces, but Aaron Nesmith consistently has been shooting the ball well, at least 12 shots in the last 4 games. So hopefully that volume continues.
And I don't have a graphic, but the real guy for the Indiana Pacers, if he's there to get, is Andrew Nembhard. Andrew Nembhard is 28% rostered in the last 2 weeks. Last 2 games, he had 12 assists, 10 assists. He had another game against Miami in February 28th where he had 11 assists. He's filling it up, and then he's getting swipes. He had 3 last game against Atlanta. He had 4 against Houston not too long ago. So he's there. He's not going to hit a bunch of threes or anything like that. He's not going to wow you with too many points. But in the categories league, he's the guy. I would get him over Aaron Nesmith.
I mean, so that's Tyrese Halliburton has been out with a hip injury. I think as soon as Halliburton is healthy, I mean, Andrew Nembhard is doing what TJ McConnell was doing last year, right? Or in years past,
Yeah,
kind of a glorified TJ McConnell.
yeah, I would say that. I know that Hallie missed the last 2 games, but even when he's playing with him. Nembhard was getting 37 minutes in games that Halliburton was playing. So I wouldn't say Halliburton coming back steals his production because I mean Halliburton's on a heater too. He started this season not not doing well, and of course going projected first round. He was very bad at the beginning of the season, but he really has picked it up. And so is the Pacers game. They've been playing well. They've been playing good basketball.
They're gonna be a tough team. They're gonna be a tough out in the East in a 7-game series.
Yeah. They got to get him back though. I don't know how serious his injury is. You're the injury guy, but they desperately need him coming back. Somebody has been battling injuries his entire career, and that's Brandon Clarke. I think he's probably torn his ACL a couple times here.
Yep.
But he's giving you some this reminds me of Udonis Haslam stats. 14-9. Man, some little defensive stats, but this is definitely Udonis Haslam territory. What he is providing for Memphis.
Well, I mean, the reason that we're talking about him, another injury, Jaren Jackson Jr., grade 2 ankle sprain. But Memphis not very good with injury reports, so they say week to week, but he could be back sooner. But, I mean, since then, playing time has upticked. I mean, Memphis right now, I'd say, is somewhat of an all-in of trying to make a run this year with the core that they have. But he's played 26 and 27 minutes the last 2 games and combined 30 points, 19 rebounds. He had 4 blocks last game. Power forward, center eligible. So, I mean, I'm assuming Jaren Jackson is out at least the next 2 weeks. So somebody that's going to be receiving 25-plus minutes a night.
Yeah, and he's going to shoot a high percentage. He's never not doing well, which also reminds me of UD.
I mean, he's shooting Brandon Clarke's shooting 61.8% from the field this year. I don't know if UD ever shot that high. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up while we go to the next person.
I mean, it's not that high. 50. I went and looked him up. He's 11-8, 12-9, 11
I will
and 8.
say it.
Like these are his.
In one game in 2021, he scored here. He averaged 4 points per game and shot 100%. He played 3 minutes that season. So Brandon Clarke hasn't done that.
Yeah, I was talking about mid 2000s. Udonis. Thank you. 2 Wizards guys. They play Tuesday, Thursday, and these are definitely streamable candidates in the form of Bub Carrington, the rookie, and Kyshawn George, the rookie. Right. Kyshawn's been known to get hot from 3 a little bit, and he did so against Utah, which Doc had, got to see that in person.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the reason for Bub especially was Jordan Poole missed 3 games with an elbow injury. He came back yesterday, 34 points, 7 threes, 5 assists, 3 steals. So anytime he plays, that's going to have an impact on Bub. I mean, we'll see if the tank is fully on for the Wizards with the last couple weeks of the season. But Bub, a couple good games, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 threes, and 12 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. I think he rebounds pretty well for a guard. He's actually averaging 4 on the season. And this is somebody that's 19 years old. So I'd love to see the Wizards give him a couple more minutes down the stretch. And I'm going to admit, I was a little wrong on Kyshawn George. I thought he was someone that could just shoot the 3. But seeing him in person, he had some tough finishes with the left hand. He's a little bit active on the rebounds. For the season, he's averaging 4.2, but over the last couple weeks, 7 rebounds. His rebounding numbers have really gone up post Jonas Valanciunas trade. I think he's averaging more rebounds than Alex Sarr since then. So,
yeah, the Wizards need to chill out. I mean, they've won 2 in a row, and they sit there with 13 wins. I thought they had definitely had the worst record in the NBA locked up, but Charlotte, we know that they're full tank mode. They have 15 wins. Utah has 15, so they could be in the midst, but they are definitely in the lock area. There's 4 teams with that same percentage as far as getting the number 1 pick in Charlotte, Washington, New Orleans, and Utah. We'll see them. They'll all have the same chance. So, I think winning doesn't really matter just because of how the lottery system works with the bottom 4 teams. Yeah, Cooper Flag is phenomenal. I looked for Duke to cut down the nets too. I just think that he's special. He's gonna take him a long way. And yes, it's the tournament, and anybody can win. But that's the team that I think has all the pieces in play, and they got the guy that can carry him past.
Spoiler: James has put out his prediction.
Yeah.
Well, James, if you join my bracket pool, then I'll know who you're picking, and then you won't know who I'm picking till the brackets are unleashed.
Well, this year's draft, even though this is not a draft show, this year's draft is loaded with superstars at the top, not just Cooper Flag. What if you've seen Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper play? Not even mentioning VJ Edgecombe. There's star power, and then the next year, you got AJ DeBonsa. You got I'm drawing blanks on.
Whoa, James, just take it easy. All of these prospects, I don't know.
Yeah,
just take it easy, man.
Yeah, in other news, Quarter Gold on Netflix is super dope. I recommend that. Even though we're free ads, we're doing it right now. If you are a true American, you knew what happened. You were following the Olympics. But if you missed it, you were too busy in your summer life. This is a good recap in 6-episode form on Netflix. Doc,
there's a reason I haven't invited you over yet.
Yeah. Boozer is that was one of the other prospects, but anyways, I digress. Good luck with your playoffs. If you're with us next week, that means you advanced another round. Until then, for Doc and Coach Lou, good luck. Stay active, and go with your gut.
Don't grind 18, 19 weeks for nothing. Finish strong.